Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Down goes Patrick Brown. Down goes Patrick Brown. So this is kind of, I guess, a olive branch to my viewers who want me to do more Canadian politics. So this is kind of, I guess, as good as it gets as far as Canadian political scandals. This is hot off the presses. This literally happened yesterday. Last night, actually. So what wound up happening is, we'll talk a bit about who Patrick Brown is in a minute, because I don't really follow provincial politics closely at all, but I'd heard a few things about him, and just from some of my viewers who live in Ontario have written me complaining about him. So I know a bit about it, but like I said, it's not... Every couple of years I try to get involved in the provincial PCs, and it's just too painful, and I just stop. As bad as the federal party is, the provincial party is just so much worse. So anyway, so it turns out all these allegations came out against Patrick Brown, well, from two women, and we're going to read the allegations in a minute, but this was the press conference he gave. So these allegations came out. Within 2 hours, all of his top staffers resigned, and he stepped down as leader of the party. When he gave this press conference, he was all by himself because everybody had left. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen a political scandal go this fast. And he gave what I maintain is the worst press conference I have ever seen in my life. We might have to watch this a couple times. I'm just going to let it run, and then we'll talk about it again later.
Every one of them. I will defend myself as hard as I want to say these allegations are false. Categorically untrue. Every one of them. I will defend myself as hard as I can with all means at my disposal. It's never okay for anyone to feel they've been a victim of sexual harassment or feel threatened in any way. Let me make this clear. A safe and respectful society is what we expect and deserve.
Mm-hmm.
And no one appreciates that more than I do. I've got two younger sisters who are my best friends.
I've got some black
I've grown
friends
up
too.
In a family that has taught me good values.
Uh-huh.
My values and beliefs are those that we need to move forward to eradicate sexual violence and harassment across the province, across the country, everywhere. I know the court of public opinion moves fast. I've instructed my attorneys to ensure that these allegations are addressed where they should be in the court of law. In short, I reject these accusations in the strongest possible terms. It's not my values. It's not how I raised. It's not who I am.
So that was the worst press conference I've ever seen. It was 1.5 minutes long. Doesn't the guy look guilty as sin? I mean, I was thinking about this. You have people who get away with scandals. Trump gets away with scandals. Trump has a scandal on a daily basis, and they all slide off of him. Rob Ford had scandals just every other week, and they wrote off of him. See, there's two ways you can deal with a scandal. The first way is to use another old Young Turk sound clip. You go out, you hit him in the mouth, number one. You strike back. Like Patrick Brown, if this was like untrue, and this is why I think it probably is true, that and they have some evidence on him. But if it was untrue, then he could have come out and said, "Look, this is nonsense. I've never seen these two people. I don't know who they are. These people are slandering me. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. I've instructed my lawyers to bring up libel." Or something like that. To just go balls to the wall. You do that if you're confident. Or if you're Trump, what you do is you attack the person who's accusing you of something and ridicule them and completely deflect it in kind of a four-dimensional jujitsu. So that's one way you deal with it. The other way you deal with it is you just kind of shrug it off and you apologize, but not like in a pussy way. Like, something I get tired of is whenever they accuse politicians of, "Oh, you did weed back in high school." Like, stuff like that. The way to deal with that, in my honest opinion, is just to go, okay, I was fucking stupid. I was dumb. You drunk drive like 20 years ago. Yeah, I was dumb. Like, if this was true, it could have just gone, I like women. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, that was not bad. The only crime here is was the quality of that blowjob. There we go. I'm going to get a bunch of thumbs down for that. Very serious. Very serious allegations against him. Did he do it? He probably did. Judging from that press conference. And, like, when I first heard about it, and I hadn't seen the press conference, I was like, nah, he probably didn't do it. Okay. But now I think he is. See, he's completely alone. All his staffers resigned. He's completely unkempt. Look at this.
Ladies
He's
and gentlemen,
crying.
a couple hours ago, I learned about troubling allegations about my conduct and character, and I'm here tonight to address them. First, I want to say these allegations are false.
No, yeah, of course they are.
Categorically untrue.
Categorically untrue.
Every one of them.
Categorically untrue as the accusations against Tywin
As hard as
Lannister.
I can, with all means at my disposal. It's never okay. It's never okay for anyone.
This
to feel
doesn't make him look guilty at all.
sexual harassment or feel threatened in any way.
Like I
Let me make
did.
this clear. A safe and respectful society is what we expect and deserve.
I can't even watch this. This is too pathetic.
What allegation?
So, yeah, so he was all alone, so he resigned within 2 hours of it coming out. So, let us go and see what these allegations are, shall we? Let's see here. Okay, so CTV broke the story. Let's see what they have to say. I will remain on as an MPP. While I will definitely clear my name from these false allegations. Yeah. Let's see here. Let me see. Newspapers outside the office of the official opposition. Okay, so let's read through this, shall we? Brown, a well-reported teetotaler, was not drinking alcohol at the time of these alleged incidents. So let's see how bad this stuff was. So he's from Barrie, way far away from where I live, but yeah, that's up in, I guess, kind of like the northern part of southern Ontario. But apparently he was a big deal there. Let's see here. The first incident occurred more than 10 years ago. The woman, a high school student in Barrie at the time, said she and a mutual friend met Brown at a bar, because he used to be a federal MP, from what I looked up on Wikipedia. Let's see here. Brown then invited them back to his home and provided them with alcohol, though the woman was under the legal drinking age at the time. Now, he probably didn't know that. Women, because I used to work at a movie theater and I had to card people, and women will often look the same from like 16 to like 30. It's not really that strange that he give a minor alcohol. It's hard to tell. She said she was drunk when Brown, I'm sure she was drunk, invited her for a tour of his home. When the pair entered the bedroom, Brown closed the door and exposed his penis to her. What is it with these guys and showing people their dicks? Harvey Weinstein does that. Like, and I don't know if he said suck my dick or put this in your mouth. The woman alleges he asked her to perform oral sex, which she did for a short time before stopping. It was like a controlling thing. Like, I just remember I wanted to go, but that it wasn't happening. She said that she then left his house and went to a nearby friend's place. He's an old single politician preying on young girls. He's just a sad person. The now 29-year-old said, wait a minute, this was 10 years ago, and she was in high school, then she was like 18 at the time. So she was like legal age. So, I don't know. Here's the issue with this. On one hand, did he do anything illegal? No, nothing about this really sounds illegal necessarily to me. I mean, she gave him some oral sex, so. Is he illegal? Probably not. Is he a sleazy asshole? Yes. Yeah, he's a sleazy asshole. This kind of behavior, I don't like it, and that's kind of my issue and why I feel a bit torn. Just go back to the whole horseshoe thing for a moment. We keep having all these guys getting taken down by these sex allegations, and on one hand, I do agree that there's no due process. We live in a society that tolerates everybody screwing everybody, but these guys happen to get caught, and they're the ones who are punished. And in a lot of cases, like with Gomeshi, they basically lied. They said that it wasn't consensual when it was consensual. So it's pretty screwed up to have somebody's life ruined because someone lies about them. On the other hand, once again going to horseshoe theory, if this means people will stop screwing each other as much out of marriage, then I'm happy about that. It's kind of like a male version. It's kind of like a female version of the Thought Patrol for douchebags who just sleep around. I mean, Patrick Brown's not married. I actually had thought he was married, and I had looked it up a bit before my mother, and my mother was like, "I feel so bad for his wife and children," and I'm like, "Mom, he doesn't have a wife or children," and she's like, "See, that's how little I knew about him." So he's still single at like 40, and if you're a politician, let alone a allegedly conservative politician, you would think that you'd get married by then. But no, and it appears that because he was a sex addict. So, like I said, is this illegal? Is this something that is generally tolerated and promoted by society and the media? Yeah, at the same time, like I said, he is a sleazy asshole, and I don't personally consider this to be in any way acceptable behavior. Another woman came forward with a similar story detailing her time working for the then MP in Prime Minister Stephen Harper's government. She said she met the then Conservative MP in November 2012 on an Air Canada flight when she was 18 coming home from university. Brown sent the woman, who would later go on to work for him, this message on Facebook after the meeting. Let's see. Are you impressed that I remembered your name? I am lol. I normally have zero memory. Still not sure why you look so familiar. So he gave the woman his phone number and the names of the berry bars that he'd be at that night, offering her help to skip any lineups, even though she was 18 at the time, below Ontario's legal drinking age. Okay, so this creepy asshole found her. Let's see, did he know her? Okay, she was Okay, so he found her. He saw her in the plane. Then he tracked her down and sent her messages on Facebook, and he offered to use his position as an MP to get her booze. Yeah, I kind of laughed it off as an older man hitting on me, the former staffer said. She didn't take him up on the offer, but months later she was looking for a summer job, so he reached out to Brown and asked if he had any openings or knew of any other opportunities. After an interview in his Parliament Hill office, Brown hired her to work in his Barrie constituency office. Brown tasked her with organizing the Hockey Night in Barrie charity game he hosts annually. Let's see here. "You know you are my favorite," writes Brown in an email to the woman days before the August event. At an after party in a now closed local nightclub, The Bank, the woman says Brown and others provided her with a string of free alcoholic beverages. She was by then legal age. "I had too many to count." Okay, once again, I don't really have that much sympathy for people who drink themselves under the table and then bad stuff happens to them. Like, I don't know. I just don't. When the bar closed, the party moved to Brown's home, all captured on social media, and they have pictures of all of this. The woman says she was extremely drunk when Brown invited her and a male friend of his to Brown's bedroom to look at photographs of a trip to Asia stored on his iPad. Yeah, that's how that works. Whenever my grandparents come over and I want to show them pictures, I just use my laptop. It's really weird. That's super shady and super creepy. The next thing I know, he's kissing me, sitting beside me, kissing me. And then I just kind of froze up. He continued to kiss me, and he laid me down on the bed and got on top of me. I remember consciously trying not to move my mouth, and I was just not moving, so I was laying there immobile, and he kept kissing me. I felt it was sexual. I could feel his erection on my legs when he was on top of me, so I felt that it would have gone to sexual intercourse if I had not done anything. She said, I would characterize that as sexual assault. That scenario, like of a very inebriated young employee in the bedroom of her boss, alone with him, who hadn't drunk that night, is just an intimidating situation. I was not sure what to do about it. She told him to stop saying she had a boyfriend and told Brown to take her home, which he did, driving her back to her parents' house. Yeah. So after the party, Brown says the woman says he pressed her to join him as an assistant on an India trip, promising all expenses would be paid. He also gave her a raise. Yeah. So CDV spoke to her father, who corroborated her version of events. He then encouraged her to reject the offer. So it seems to me like he had a thing for this girl who was underage at the time, and then he gave her a job, and then he got her drunk, and then he tried to go after her, and then when it didn't work out, he tried to pay her off. Or maybe he thought she was going to be his waifu and they were going to go on an Asian getaway together. I don't really know, but that is the allegations against him. Now, who is Patrick Brown? Let's just do a little bit of background on this dude. So, is Patrick Brown. So, Patrick Brown used to be a noted social conservative, a family values type. He apparently voted to reopen gay marriage, and he had like 100% pro-life voting record. So when he ran for leadership of the PC party, he ran as the social conservative family values dude. Part of what he promised was that he was going to repeal the sex ed curriculum. Now, for those of you who don't know, the sex ed curriculum was created by the Deputy Minister of Education in Ontario, who was convicted of possessing kiddie porn. So a lot of people were like, maybe this is not a good idea. Maybe we shouldn't implement a sex ed curriculum written by a pedo. And there was a lot of anger over that. Mainly it was actually Muzzies who were angry about it. And a bunch of people were like virtue signaling, and they're like, oh, it's actually evangelical Christians who are pressuring the Muslims into protesting this because they can't have any agency, you see. So then he went out, and after that he went to be probably the most left-wing, and this is saying a lot because it's the progressive conservatives leader that the PC party has ever had. And he said, if you support the sex ed curriculum, vote for someone else. So I was going to vote for him. Despite him being completely awful, he's better than Comrade Win, which is hard for me to even say. But yeah, so he was that, and now he's like super socially liberal. He keeps attacking the base of his party. He keeps telling them to fuck off, etc. So he was widely disliked. So let's continue on, shall we? So another big kind of issue that Patty took a lot of heat over was the amount of money that they raised. So there used to be kind of a loophole in Ontario elections because you can raise a certain amount a year, but if there's a by-election, you can raise that amount again. So you can double use a contribution limit. So what happened there was a couple by-elections, and basically they took the maximum amount of donations from their big donors like 3 or 4 times in a row. So they were able to raise more money than the other parties combined, which is now closed because it was unethical. Yeah, so basically they dealt with the party's huge debt by using this loophole. And it's let me find the actual amount. So here we go. So outside of by-election periods, the Liberals took in $3.5 million from 19,000 donors. Okay, that's not bad. That's quite a few donors. The Conservatives raised $3.1 million from 2,500 donors. That is problematic. They raised almost as much money from like an eighth the donors, at least a fifth of the donors. Yeah, about a fifth of the donors. I mean, that's not a good sign. The party of the rich much? You could fit all those people in a room. And the NDP, 3.2 million from 30,000 donors. The NDP is really good at the kind of the root level stuff, but they're kind of a workers' party. So that's funny. So during the September 1st by-election, the Tories raised $4 million from 3,000 donors. In the NDP, let me just look that up. How much is that? Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, divided by... So yeah, each one on average gave $1,300, because that's what the average person is like. They have like 30 grand to give a year. So that was an issue that they had. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, they just raised a whole bunch of money. Let's see, twice the amount of the Liberals, all through big companies. They're closing that. The companies aren't going to be allowed to, fraud. So then there was the fraud, which was another issue, where they rigged a whole bunch of races around the province, allegedly. Let's see here. I'm trying to remember. Dozen. Criminal probe. Fraud and forgery allegations. Let's see here. So I think what happened was around the province, it's alleged that... Wait a minute, what's this? I saw Melania Trump visits the Holocaust Museum. Okay, well that's a sign that she's anti-Jew. Let's see here. Let's see. 2 bankers' boxes full of documents. Let's see here. Yeah, so basically a bunch of stuff happened where it's pretty obvious that they rigged a bunch of elections across the province to get candidates, Patrick Brown's candidates, elected. So you're welcome to look into that. And yeah, so that was kind of the various things we've been having today. Hamilton. Okay, here we go. Press progress. Let's see here. Wrongful insertion about. I'm just trying to find it. So there's one I had open. Okay, yes. One of only more than a dozen PC writing associations across the country. Let's see. Carleton. Volunteers have quit the party and makes vague allusions to a shady nomination. Guelph. Thomas Mooney withdraws from nomination, declaring what he's been seeing during his campaign has led him to lose faith with the current leadership. Let's see here. Booted the local MPP from the Tory caucus. The entire riding executive tenders its resignation, accusing the party officials of creating a toxic and destructive culture. Let's see here. Was blocked by leading Tobias to denounce Patrick Brown as a dictator and accuse officials of behaving like North Korea. So yeah, that's just that was just some of the things that was happening. So all that stuff happened. We had the fake social conservative stuff. We had the taking massive payouts from companies, and we had I can't watch it again. It's just too bad. So let's end on a high note with everybody's favorite dude, Mike Pence. So everybody mocked Mike Pence when this came out. So Mike Pence adopted something the the Billy Graham rule. So the Billy Graham rule is part of kind of a code of behavior some evangelical Christians use. So under the Billy Graham rule, you never go out alone with a woman, and you don't go to an event where there's alcohol served without your wife. So Graham rule has internet yelling sexism. So basically, he may just be the smartest person on the planet right now to have so many safety guards in place. Leaves nearly zero room for nonsense. Let's see here. You're very wrong. Pence forcibly segregating women away from herself perpetrates toxic masculinity culture in a number of ways. Political writer Matthew Cuckman wrote, that is literally like the gayest thing I've ever heard. But no, like, he's right. If more people stuck to this, then there wouldn't be any ammunition. Because you're never in a position where, like, this stuff can happen. Because there's always going to be people around to go, yeah, he didn't do anything to her. So, like, if some woman accuses Mike Pence of something, he go, I am not here. It's bullshit. I am not here. I am not. Oh, hi, Mark. And Mark will be there because Johnny didn't take Lisa to dinner alone. So that was the issue, is they drank, and that's the room would have been avoided. So yeah, so people said it's toxic masculinity. So no, it's interesting. So he kind of turned out to be completely right about this whole thing. That a Christian case against the Pence rule, fake evangelical writer says the Billy Graham rule hurts women more than it helps. But yeah, he's never going to be in a situation where they can use this shit against him. So 2 thumbs up to Mike Pence, 2 thumbs down to Patty Brown for a sleazy career ending a sleazy way. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys later.